Geshe for the last session. And I think all of us will enjoy it. And we are feeling very sad that it's over, right? Yes. So, Geshe.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sabitaji, and all the participants here. Thank you. Let me quickly take. Yeah, I think this is fine. Let me quickly take us all back to this point. Yes. So what we have here? What we have here is finally we see that the world today, whether we like it or not, this is reality. There's a full of pains, tears. This is reality, and this can be stopped. This can be stopped, and practically speaking, the one is that that external factors are there, internal factors are there, and the immediate measures are to tackle the external factors, and long-term measure. So this is to tackle the factors. So for this, the question is, the internal factors like what? Each one of us, we have our own personal experience of the pains. What kind of pains? What kind of, say, the internal factors? We see that, for example, sadness, grief, anger, and anger, the temper of one of your family members. This can disrupt the whole family, the peace of the whole family. It's acutely painful. So these emotions, there's no external factor which cook these emotions within us. So it is our creation. But how do they come into being? Nobody wants to create sadness, but then it arises. Nobody wants grief, the pain of the grief. But this is something that happens. Is there a cure? This question. So with this in mind, the 2008, when I was in America, and I'm sure that some of you might have read the book by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, quoted by Professor Paul Ekman, Emotional Awareness. If you've not read this book, and this is like 54 hours of interview, Professor Paul Ekman did with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And the Professor Paul Ekman, he brought them in the form of a book. So that is known as Emotional Awareness. And for this book, yes, the Office of His Holiness, before the book was published, Office of His Holiness sent me to America to work with Professor Paul Ekman to see if the voice of His Holiness, in the book, they are reflected well meaning accurately. So I was there, and I was with him for 5 days. And he was so kind. He entertained me every evening. Every evening there's something new. And one evening, it was the meeting with the psychologist friends or psychologist colleagues. And we introduced ourselves, and then he asked me to speak a little bit about what I do. So I talked about managing the emotions, particularly managing the anger, attachment, pain, fear, so forth. And one of the psychologists raised a hand and said that, but we cannot really eradicate these basic emotions like attachment, anger, fear. We cannot get rid of these emotions, she said. And I said, why? She said that because these are the evolutionary gifts for us. Number one, these are instincts. These are not something that you deliberately created. They're instincts, instinctive. Number two, that they are evolutionary gifts. Gifts meaning something good. We require the basic emotions like attachment, aversion, and fear. And why? And she further explained this. For example, attachment. We need it for our survival, a survival of the fittest. According to Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory, that what's the purpose of the being is to continue the species. For that, you have to continue, you have to survive. If you don't survive, the species will die. So the whole purpose of the species is the lust. So we have to survive. For that, only the fittest will survive. What do we require to be the fittest? It requires these emotions: attachment, aversion, and fear. Attachment, why do we need that? For our survival, we need the conducive factors. For the attachment, no. For the survival, we need the conducive factors. And the conducive factors, only if we have the attachment. Only if we have the only if we have the attachment, then we will put effort to gather the conducive factors. So without the attachment, then we will not gather the conducive factors, and without which we will not put effort to look for food, will not put effort to look for shelter, and so forth, then we will die. Without aversion, we will not put effort to get rid of the undesirable things. And undesirable things, we get rid of them only if you have the aversion. If you don't aversion, this faculty within us, then you will not put effort to get away from the non-conducive factors. And fear. If you don't have the fear, if the lion comes to pounce on you, if you don't have the fear, you will not run. Again, you will die instantly. Your species will discontinue. So this is what she said. And in other words, why do we need these emotions? Number one, they're instinct. You cannot really get rid of them, number one. Number two, that these are required for your existence. Okay, so now this is what Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory says, that emotions as instincts through evolution, and we require them for our existence. Whereas the Buddha taught the opposite. Charles Darwin, 19th century, and the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago that, number one, are they instincts, these emotions? Are they instincts? The answer is yes, they are instincts. Simply because they are instincts does not mean that we cannot get rid of them, number one. They are instincts, but can we get rid of them, number one. Number two, do we require them? So the Buddha said, no, we don't require them. Because with anger, if you require them, everybody should be so looking forward to becoming angry. How many of you, the morning you get up, I'm so excited today, I'll be angry? Who? No one. We don't require them. Nobody wants these. Then how will you survive? So Buddha taught what is known as skillful compassion. Compassion embraces, right? What we learn from the ever-present mental factors. What are they? By now, you should have all on your fingertips. What are the five ever-present mental factors? Contact, attention, discrimination, feeling. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Okay, I'm so glad. Okay. Mark, you have all on your fingertips? I know you have. You have all these five on your fingertips? Yes, you have, I know. Okay, so the point is that with these five, Buddha taught finally that what we need to do is to manage our emotions for, number one, that these emotions, attachment, aversion, and fear. The fear accompanying these emotions, there's so much of the pain with the fear. So these are something which we can get rid of. How? First, we have to check how they operate in your mind. So these 5 ever-present mental factors. So what we learned the last few days is that the movement of the mind, intention to move towards the object, intention to move away from the object. Intention to move towards the object is involuntary pull, this attachment. For example, like say when you go to the young boys and girls, when your parents take you to the shopping mall, first you insist your parents to take you to the shopping mall. And parents, they were picking up the dresses, the clothes, whatever is little less expensive. And you say color is not good, shape is not good, something is not good. You have actually seen Louis Vuitton there. You have seen the Louis Vuitton, right? And what else? Louis Vuitton, Chanel, right? You have seen that, and your mother is not picking that up. She's making something up, right? And you already saw that. So therefore, your mind is being pulled by this, and then you say, no, this is not good, this is not fit, color is not right, this is not right, that is not right. And the mother says, let's come again later. And then by the time you leave the shopping mall, your mind is pulled by the Chanel and the Louis Vuitton. You're getting it? Gucci, right? They're pulling you, and then you just want to go there once, right? Involuntary pull, this attachment, involuntary pull. Aversion, involuntary push. Aversion is so obvious. Anger, aversion, say the hatred. So there, your mind is so obvious that there's so much of pain. There's so much of pain. This is so obvious. And then fear, worst, most grossly painful. So all these are happening on the level of intention, movement of the mind, involuntary pull and push. You're getting it? Involuntary pull and push. Now, studying this psychology, the map of the mind of the 5 ever-present mental factors, what we learned is that this pull and push is determined by the feeling. If you have a pleasant feeling, right, involuntary pull and push, particularly related to the aversion, disturbance, agitation, these are all involuntary push. When a feeling is very pleasant, the mind will embrace the trigger of the feeling, will not push. That is the embrace. Embrace says agitation calms down. Then that feeling is determined by the discrimination. You cannot say that when you meet the difficult person, unpleasant feeling is coming. Create pleasant feeling. How? You're getting it? So oftentimes we never give the solutions. How? You say, be good. How good? Be good. Study well. Be the topper. And how? Right? How? The answer is not coming. So here, this is where we need to look for the answers, solutions. How to create this? When I see the pleasant, the unpleasant, what is that? The difficult person, unpleasant feeling comes. No, you have to keep calm, keep nice, be happy, be kind to that person. But it's not coming. How should I do? So this is oftentimes the struggle. So if you know this 5 ever-present mental factors, from there you know how to change this feeling from unpleasant to the pleasant by changing. The girl over there? Discrimination. Very good. By changing discrimination. How to change the discrimination? By contact and attention, by getting correct information through contact and attention, by getting the profound information, by getting the vast information, by getting numerous information. You're getting it? So maintaining an open mind, reading books. Reading books is extremely important, but the correct book. right? Correct book and profound book and a vast, numerous topics, not just confined to one topic. So these are things which are extremely important. So in other words, change your discrimination to change the unpleasant feeling to pleasant feeling. This will make your mind to embrace. Embracing is the calmness as opposed to disturbance. Okay, so the Buddha said, yes, we can change this emotion. We can get rid of these emotions. Although they're instincts, we can get rid of these. Then what are the mechanisms for us? What tools will we have to survive the species? What tool? If you get rid of these three tools, then what tool will we have to survive? Skillful compassion. Compassion embraces or rejects? Hey, tell me. Compassion embraces or rejects? Embraces. So when you embrace, there's a calmness there. You're getting it? You don't have to, agitation subsides. And yet, oftentimes, one question that comes from people is that when you are very compassionate, people take advantage of me, right? Oh yeah, how many of you agree with this? Yes, it does happen. When you are very compassionate, people take advantage of me. You're getting it? Okay. So therefore, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, very interesting. His Holiness extremely practical. You're getting it? Extremely practical. Oftentimes, if you go to a Buddhist monk or Buddhist nun, primarily the Buddhist monks, revered as some teachers. If you are sick, ordinary people, they go to the Buddhist monks expecting some miracles will be done to remove your problem. And then they will say, oh, do this puja, do that puja, and so forth. You go to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for your illness, His Holiness will never say, do this puja, do that, but he will say, go to hospital. You're getting extremely practical. We should be very realistic. Let us not follow blindly. This is so important. We should be very realistic. So the point is that with compassion, it embraces. Embrace means a pleasant feeling. It's nice. It calms you down. But with compassion, oftentimes the things that people take advantage of you. So how to deal with this? His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as I said earlier, extremely practical. And I so vividly remember that during one of his public addresses, I think in America, at the end of the public address, somebody raised a question to His Holiness. Your Holiness, you're always talking about compassion, but when we practice this, people take advantage of this and then we suffer. What should we do? This is the question asked. His Holiness said, without any thought, His Holiness said, if a mad dog comes, I will never say compassion. I'll run. You're getting it? So what he is saying is that take appropriate measures without giving into anger. You're getting it? Take appropriate measures without giving into anger. It doesn't mean that compassion, you have to surrender. No. You have to take the appropriate measure. Because if you don't take the appropriate measure, say from the point of view of law of karma or cause and effect relationship, in a way you are making the other person accumulate so much of negative karma, so much of non-virtuous karma. So the person has to face the consequence in the future. So therefore, you're not doing good to the other person in the pretext, in the facade of compassion. You are harming the person. So, His Holiness said, take the appropriate measure. What is the best thing? When the mad dog comes, don't say compassion, run. Right? We should be very, very practical, realistic. We have to take the appropriate measures. And I'm sure that you have many questions. Like, okay, now in this case, if it's not a mad dog is one thing. But a human being, very difficult human being, how should I deal with that? If I practice compassion, the person takes advantage of what should we do? If you have this question, we will do at the end. Feel free to come up with the questions. Today is the last day. But this, the thing is that this is known as the skillful compassion. Compassion where others cannot take advantage of you. Let me repeat it. Skillful compassion. Compassion where you benefit others and others cannot take advantage of you. So, this is known as the skillful compassion. This is extremely important. And how can we cultivate this? Even cultivating compassion is again on the basis of the 5 ever-present mental factors. Compassion on the basis of, for example, let's say that if your neighbor tells you that you are a stupid person, you always throw garbage next to my door, you are agitated, you are angry, right? You're very angry. Whereas a 2-year-old girl or a boy from outside comes and says, stupid man, you always throw garbage next to my door. It's so cute. Yes, you agree? It's so cute. Just 2 years old, 3 years, hardly can talk, hardly can walk. And saying that you're stupid, you throw garbage next to my door. That's so cute. You will not feel angry. It's so cute. Why? Okay, now you tell me. Why, in the case of the small child, you feel that as cute, not as a factor for you to become angry? Why not? Anyone? Anyone? Hey, anyone? Yes, over there. No, not the adult. Young one, why you are not angry? Yes, they don't know any better. You're getting it. How many agree with Divika Resents? Yes, you all agree. Even the adult, physically adult, but mentally child. They're mentally still child. You're getting it? Say, by saying this, you throw garbage next to my door. By saying this, is he or she happy? Not happy. Which means that he or she does not know how to create happiness. You're getting it? Does not know anything, like a small child. Physically old, like me, already in the 50s. But mentally still 2 years old toddler. You're getting it? So if you think of this, cognitively think of this, yeah, that's true. A small child, because he doesn't know anything, she doesn't know anything, it's okay. And simply because somebody is the 50 years old doesn't mean that the person knows everything. Person can be as, sometimes the 50 years old can behave even more childish than a small child. So therefore, thinking of that, then you, initially, intellectually, it's okay. You see that, yeah, that makes sense. But still, mentally, no, he's adult, she's adult, right? So this is where we require training. We require to think of these more often, think of this more. Then your perspective will change. You're getting it? Our perspective changes. Then our perspective becomes richer. You're getting it? My old style of perspective is already there. And you get a new perspective of looking at things. And then, yeah, although they're, sometimes physically old, mentally still child, right? So you understand it's fine. But don't just say fine, that person will take more and more advantage of you. Take appropriate measure without giving into anger. If you give into anger, finish. No justification. You have already surrendered. You're being subservient to the, say, negative emotions. It is your weakness. Yesterday we discussed that anger is a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of strength. Just look at how the dogs behave. You chase the dog with the stick, the dog will run. As long as there's a space to run, the dog will run because he knows that there's a solution. I can run. But when the dog is cornered, the dog does not see any solution. What is next? The last resort, that is attack you. So attacking is the anger. Anger is a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of strength. Okay, with this in mind, we say compassion, practice compassion, skillful compassion. Compassion per se can be practiced on the basis of the 5 ever-present mental factors, particularly discrimination, by enriching yourself with this discrimination. Profound, vast, and varieties. Then so for this we need a large information, whole lot of information, deep information, profound, the numerous information, varieties. This is what is required. And likewise, skillfulness. Skillfulness is more the depth. You require the information more the depth. deeper information that you have, you become extremely skilled how to manage things very skillfully. Okay, for example, say that 2 days ago, when Elroy, he was taking me next to where the Penjim Inn, where I was put up. I got lost. And he was taking me into all these gullies. And I got there, right there, right to the end. I was surprised. How do you know all these small gullies, right? So this is where he knows the details. He knows the subtlety of the small the path within Penjim. He knows that. Because of that, it's so comfortable for me. It's so comfortable for you that you will not you don't have to go always round. You can take shortcuts if you know that. So this is where the profound knowledge will give you the skillfulness. Profound knowledge, of course, the vast plus the profound, more precisely the profound. You require both. This will give you the skillfulness. Skillfulness and then compassion combined together will make your life very easy and make others' life very easy. People, once they come to know your skills, people will come to seek your counsel. People will come to seek your advice for any problem. You can just give some ideas, it becomes very easy. Okay. So with this in mind, the emotions like attachment, anger, jealousy, fear, and so forth, are they helpful to us? No, they are not helpful. Everybody acknowledges that. They are very destructive. But can we get rid of them? Answer is yes, we can get rid of them. How? By working on the 5 ever-present mental factors. Okay, good. So with this in mind, what we have been learning is that I have stipulated 5 ways, and we are talking of the number 5. If you get this, if you get the number 5, then almost like all your destructive emotions can be managed very easily. Almost all the destructive emotions. For example, within the dream, you can have anger, you can have attachment. For example, like say, you have a dream, and in the dream, you say that the Dr. Savidaji is going to take all of us to have an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In the dream, say you're dreaming. And then this unexpected, no, I could not really expect this happening. This is amazing. Thank you, Dr. Savidaji. Dr. Anidaji, thank you, coordinating this, right? Okay, I know some of you may be thinking of making this request. So, in the dream, say that you are there. Now, to your surprise, not only that you have the audience with His Holiness, His Holiness asked Dr. Anidaji and the Savidaji, why not we have a cup of tea together with all your members? How many are happy? Raise hands. Very happy. Okay. So with this, saying that in the dream, so there's so much of joy and happiness there. And then what happens? How many like cheesecakes? Raise hands. Be very honest. Cheesecakes? Oh, go on. They don't like cheesecake. Only 2, 3, 4. Raise hands. Raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Joyce? Yes. 7. So. Mark? Huh? Oh, I see. Okay. So let's say that then the cheesecake is served, and then they say there's so much craving. You do not have the cheesecake the last 3 years during the COVID, right? Because of COVID, you do not get the chance to have cheesecake. Now suddenly, in front of His Holiness, you're getting the chance to have the cheesecake. Your mind is involuntarily pulled by the cheesecake. Right? And then your share of the cheesecake is on a plate, and the cat jumps over it and topples it, and aversion arises, right? And then there's an earthquake, fear arises, right? And then the earthquake, the buildings are collapsing. You said, no, I'm dead. When you say I'm dead, your mother wakes you up. You are not in the Dharamsala, you are still in Goa. You're getting it? Your mother wakes you up. Okay. So say, that within this dream, we see that there are three different emotions. Involuntary pull, attachment to the cheesecake. Involuntary push, anger, aversion because of the cat jumping over the cheesecake. Then again involuntary push, the fear of the collapse of the building and you're dead. And then all these three emotions, they create mental disturbance. And they are in a very intense form. For example, attachment, if it is so intense, when it's not fulfilled, there's so much of pain. Aversion, so much of pain. Fear, so much of pain. So, can be anxietic, can be panicky, and can be, let's say, the depressing, can make you drive into depression. So, for all these, your mother wakes you up, all these emotions in the dream stops because of discovering that whatever happened in the dream, they're all subjective, nothing objectively there. The moment you discover that, that is known as the ontological reality, which means objective reality. What's the object there? There's no objective existence there. Is all just subjective. The moment you discover that, all the emotions within the dream, they come under control. Okay, so this is number 5. Number 5, okay, last time I have some brochures here, over there. So those who did not get the brochures, feel free to pick them up. They're here, lying here. And thank you so much. Thank you. There's one in blue color and one in brown color. Brown color is the long-term one. This is 5 years. 5-year program. And the blue color just for 6 months. And the enrollment still happening. Online, offline, both. Meaning that the people who are not in Delhi, already we have about 1,000, how many students? 1,150 students already. Still people are enrolling. So still the enrollment is open, but this one, it is already in the flow, and second batch will come only after completion of the first batch, which is for 5 years. No, the first batch is done, second batch. Now third batch will be announced only when the second batch completes. So this one is still available. In other words, if you really want to go deeper into these topics, then there's still the possibilities there. And for the students, 75% what we call scholarship for the students. For the monastics, 100% scholarship. For others, it's so subsidized, it's very, very, very small. For some of us, it's just like, lunch, you go to a hotel, you eat a lunch, that money is good for a whole 6 months, right? It's very, very subsidized, just for your information. Because why I'm saying this here is for the reason that oftentimes these courses are already started, and then in the middle of the course, then people come to know about this and then made the request, please enroll me. And then it's not good for us because that it disrupts the flow of the course, and then it's also not good for the person, because the person and the one who requested, because the person if enrolled, the person will feel lost and will think that this is something which is so high level, I cannot understand at all, and then may not do these courses at all in the future. It can be more harm than the benefit. So therefore, right from the beginning, if they get information, to get the information, that is important. They join, not join, that's up to the individual. Okay, so this said, with this in mind, what we are now the text which we are doing is the, okay, okay, I think we are here. Are we done with this? After. Oh, still after. Okay, then we. Okay, thank you. Govins are very serious. Okay, we're done, not done. Alas, alright, okay. So now in terms of the main subject matter, it is more complete. So this is more like the author, Lama Tsongkhapa, sharing the sentimental feelings related to the teacher of this teaching, the emptiness of objective existence, the Buddha Shakyamuni. Alas, my mind was defeated by ignorance, though I've sought refuge for a long time. In such an embodiment of excellence, I possess not a fraction of his qualities. So, like what the Buddha himself did, the Prince Siddhartha, he sought the help of his first teacher, Acharya Alarakalam, and he got the realization and asked for more teachings. Again, then he went to the second teacher, Acharya Udrika, and again he reached the same level as the teacher, asked for more teachings. The teacher said that you have got everything, and then the Prince Siddhartha knew that he did not get full, meaning that he came here not for his own spiritual realizations, but to benefit all the beings. So he's looking for a solution for all the beings. This he could not. And so therefore then he left in search of the path. So this is what he discovered. So likewise, the author of this text, Lama Tsongkhapa, he struggled really, he's gifted with intelligence. And he struggled so much, so what he's expressing the reflections or the sentiments. Alas, my mind was defeated by ignorance, meaning that I've been seeing things as objectively real all the time. Though I've sought refuge for a long time in such an embodiment of excellence, the Buddha Shakyamuni, I possess not a fraction of his qualities. Nonetheless, before the stream of this life flowing towards death has come to cease, which means that the author himself, before he passed away, that I've found slight faith in you, meaning that this is the Indian tradition, this beautiful Indian tradition. When somebody gives you the credit, oh, you have done so good, and then you will say that, oh, because of your blessings, this is beautiful. This tradition is what the Tibetans inherited from the Indians. Nonetheless, before the stream of this life flowing towards death has come to cease, that I found slight faith in you, even this I think is fortunate. Slight faith, expressing humility, that I've seen this reality, that things are all empty of objective reality. There's nothing objective real, they're all like dream. I found this, but he said that I found slight faith. It's not that, wow, what you said is amazing, I found it. No, he expresses humility. Slight faith in you. Even this I think is fortunate. Among teachers, the teacher of dependent origination. So finally, if somebody teaches you how things are all dependent originated, don't feel angry towards this person, because this person behaving like this is also because of dependent origination. You're getting it? But it doesn't mean that you have to surrender. You're getting it? So when you see that other person's behaving like a small child, what Devika said, that the small child behaving like this is because of the child doesn't know how to behave otherwise. So for this, usually, okay, now I don't know to what extent I can share this with this audience. Usually I tell the parents that never ever show anger towards your children. Forget about beating, corporal punishment. No corporal punishment. Even anger, don't show anger. The child, say, age 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, show anger, okay, the child will surrender. But by the time the child becomes the age 14, 15, 16, 17, they can become rebellious. They will start to hate you when you show anger. So what's the question coming? The question coming is that if you don't show anger, then the child does not do properly. So I said that you don't need to show anger. Anger is actually distancing the child emotionally from you. Instead of anger, you can pretend as though like you are sad. Sadness and anger are different. Anger, you are actually giving force, pushing the other person. Sadness, you are not pushing the other person, you are feeling it. So the child feels your sadness, that you are sad. The child loves you. Child doesn't want you to be sad. Because the sadness, you don't want it. Even in the midst, in the grip of your sadness, if somebody says that you want to get rid of sadness, of course, yes. But in the grip of anger, somebody says that you want to get rid of anger, you will say that, who are you? You're getting it? When you are in the grip of anger, you become crazy. You have lost your mind. In the grip of sadness, your children will empathize with you. When you're in the grip of anger, they will not empathize, they will start to hate you. You're getting it? So this is what I tell them, that seeing the child does not know. Depending on not knowing things, therefore the child, they making mistakes, originated, dependent origination. Likewise, other people who behave in a wrong way, right? Just check whether what I'm saying is correct or not. One day, what happened was that there's one elderly lady, and I went to her room, and she said that, Geshe, I need to have my mattress changed. This mattress is too hard. I want to buy a new mattress. I said, no, don't buy a new one. Don't waste your money like this. I will send her a soft mattress from the office. So I sent her a soft one. Then the next time I went there, she said that, Geshe, I want to buy a new mattress. I said, why? You already have a soft one. She said, no, it's too soft. Right? And then she justified what she was saying by saying that there's the other gentleman who is helping her sometimes. This gentleman also, they encouraged me to buy a new mattress. I said that, what happened? Now you have the soft one, you have the hard one. If the soft one is too soft, put the soft one below, put the hard one above. So there will be balance. This gentleman even doesn't have this thought, this, they say the logical thinking. And the lady, otherwise seemed not to be too smart, she said, Geshe, listen, if this gentleman is as smart as what you said, he can also be the second director of Tibet House. You're getting it? So there's a reason why he's not the director, or why he's not, he's doing a simple work. It's because of that reason. You have to understand it. In other words, I teach dependent origination. She taught me dependent origination in reality. You're getting it? So this is dependent origination. People, however nasty they are because of dependent origination. Because of that, don't say, okay, yeah, I understand it, I can understand it. Say it is not your mistake, it's your dependent origination. This is where, again, you fail to understand dependent origination. Because it's dependent origination, we have to fix the problem. Fix the factors which made the person behave like this. Fix that, and the person would behave very differently. You're getting it? So therefore, the point is that understanding dependent origination, this is so precious. So it says, among the teachers, the teacher with dependent origination, the one who sees the very subtle workings of dependent origination, with this, it will be just amazing. So many unnecessary mental agitations will be subsided. Right? You can see things very broadly, very profoundly, from a broad perspective. You see that everything is like a child's play. So therefore, that teacher is so precious. Among teachers, the teacher of dependent origination, amongst the wisdom within you, the knowledge, the wisdom of dependent origination. You are most excellent, like the kings of the world. Know this perfectly well. not others. All that you've taught proceeds by way of dependent origination. That too is done for the sake of nirvana. Nirvana is a technical term. In a secular context, nirvana means freedom from miseries, or to make it even more sensible, freedom from freedom from cycle of life and death, or say the freedom from say one is, we say lack of freedom is misery. Lack of freedom is misery. Nirvana means total freedom, total liberation, that you're not affected by any external factors. That's nirvana. In secular context, nirvana means total freedom, total liberation, that you're not affected by any external factors. That is nirvana. In a religious context, then the word nirvana is used. Otherwise, it is total freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Okay, so all that you have taught proceeds by way of dependent origination. That too is done. All these teachings are for the sake of liberation of the beings. Liberation of the beings. You have no deeds that do not bring peace. Peace meaning, when you're liberated, you get the absolute peace. That is peace. How amazing. Your teaching is such, in whomsoever's ears it falls, they all attain peace. So who would not be honored to uphold your teachings? It overcomes all opposing challenges who believe in objective reality, who do not believe in dependent origination. It overcomes all opposing challenges. It is free from contradictions between earlier and the latter paths. It grants fulfillment of beings' two aims. Two aims meaning the immediate benefit and the long-term benefit. Immediate benefit and long-term benefit. For this system, my joy increases evermore, particularly teaching on dependent origination. For its sake, you have given away. So now, to understand, there's okay. So for its sake, to understand dependent origination, what did you do? Is that you have given away again and again over countless eons, sometimes your body, and others your life, as well as your loving care and resource of wealth, in order to acquire this knowledge. Seeing the qualities of this teaching pulls hard at your heart, just like what a hook does to a fish. Sad it is not to have heard it from you. So the author, a brilliant scholar and a brilliant enlightened being, the master, he said that this teaching on emptiness is something which you taught, but I did not get the opportunity. I did not have the enough merit to hear it directly from you. Because the author was 14th century AD, and the Buddha Shakyamuni was 500 BC, which is about like 2,000 years gap. The intensity of that sorrow does not let go of my mind, just like the mind of a mother constantly goes after her dear child. Here too, as I reflect on your words, then they say, learning about the emptiness of objective reality, how everything's all dependent originated. And when you see that person is behaving like this because of these factors, if that person is as smart, the person will not behave like this. The person will behave very differently. For example, like what all these wars are happening, like Gaza Strip, Ukraine, and these leaders, if they're thinking as smart to see dependent origination, long-term dependent origination, short-term dependent origination, they will not behave like this. They'll all behave very lovingly and harmoniously to hold each other's hands rather than push and drown others. So this is the teacher, the Buddha Shakyamuni. Here too, as I reflect on your words of dependent origination, I think the author is just imagining, visualizing what this great teacher is like. You seen as blazing with the glory of noble marks and hallowed in the net of light rays. This teacher, in a voice of pristine melody, spoke thus in such a way. instant such a reflection of the sage's form, sage here, the Buddha Shakyamuni, appears in my mind, it soothes me, just as moonbeams heal a fever's pain. Okay, so he never praised the Buddha Shakyamuni for having performed miracles. He only praised the Buddha Shakyamuni for giving the correct teaching of the wisdom, how to fix our mistaken the perceptions, how to bring a new perspective. So that is something which soothes me. Just as moonbeams heal a fever's pain. This excellent system, most marvelous, some individuals who are not so learned have entangled it in utter confusion, just like the entangled bulbous grass. Okay, now we will come to realize that, okay, this course, 6 months is okay. This is not going to be too deep, but this one is really goes into deep. The 5-year course. From this, you will realize that what the author is saying here is that these concepts, initially you get the shallow understanding is okay. You see it's very healing. When you go deeper, then you see the nuances. Nuances where you can get stuck. What is what? Because there are two nuances that you need a lot of reflection, contemplation, and analysis and efforts. So seeing this, they having entangled it in utter confusion, just like the entangled bulbous grass. How, okay, I will share with you how there's complication. Say we talked about what? Finally, what is the essence of what we discussed the last today, including today, 4 days. If somebody can tell me what is the essence of what we learned, and you may present it from your own thoughts. Anyone? Essence of what you've learned. What do you think? Don't think that, okay, what I say may not be the essence. Don't worry. Tell me. There are many points shared. What do you think is something which okay, this is what he's trying to say. Presents? Anyone? Yes. Wonderful. To gain more knowledge, to expand your knowledge. Wonderful. So now? Skillful compassion. Very good. Anyone else? Mark? Okay. How do you say that how ignorance is responsible for all our problems? Wonderful. Amazing. You're not like 14 years old. Okay, anyone else? I know there may be some people who are more into subjective objective, right? That everything is into of objective reality, that everything is subjectively real, right? Resents? Good. Okay. They say you understand it or not understand, that's a different story. What you've learned, that things are all like dream. Okay. So now dream meaning, dream is subjective or objective? Subjective. So in other words, just as the dream is subjective, everything is subjective that you have learned. Whether you agree, not agree, accept, not accept, that's a different story, right? At least this is what you've learned. With this, so here it says, having entangled it in utter confusion, just like the tangled bulbous grass, like the coconut husk. They are just, entangled. So this is where the confusions are seen. So what kind of confusion? I'll give one example. Say everything is subjectively real. You don't really accept. Just entertain it without accepting it. Right? Everything is subjectively real, like dream. And subjective reality, how things are subjective, which means all are coming from your mind. It seems so simple. Within that, again, there are nuances. There are nuanced understanding which can differ from each other. Okay, let me give an example. Say, if everything is subjective, then do you see, what do you think? That the subject-object can be separate, or these two are mixed? If everything is subjective. Let's say that if this bottle is subjective, would you say that this bottle is mixed with the subject, or can still be different if it is subjective? What do you think? Give me your thoughts. Anyone? Okay, let's say if the bottle is subjective, if it is subjective, then it becomes like the mirror and the reflection in the mirror, right? Mirror, reflection in the mirror is like the mirror itself. There's nothing separate if it is subjective. So there's no separate object. It should be coming from your mind. There should be no object, right? Okay, how many of you think like this? Raise hands. If it is subjective. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Even if it is subjective, still they can be object subject can be separate. Raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's interesting. It's like split into two. Say, is there anybody who would like to explain to us how, if it is subjective, like dream, contents of the dream and the dreaming mind, these two are separate or these two are not separate? Contents of the dream. Say, in the dream, you are grabbing at the cheesecake. Cheesecake is the object of the dream. Dream cheesecake. And the dreaming mind, are these two mixed or these two are separate? These two are mixed. These two are not separate. Okay. How many of you would say that if everything is subjective, then it should be like dream? In which case, the object, the dream object, and the dreaming mind should be mixed up. These two cannot be separated. Raise hands. Okay. Now, if things are subjective, still the object and subject should be different. Raise hands. Okay. 1, 2. So we need to justify these 2 points. Those who say that if it is subjective, then it should be like the dream and the dream cheesecake, there should be no difference, like same. How? You have to explain it. Then the others who say that, no, even if it is subject, still the object subject can be different. Again, you have to explain how. How is it possible? Okay, in other words, subjectivity. Although you talk about the subjective, there can be not only 2 versions, but broadly speaking, there are 2 versions. There can be even more versions of that. One version is that because it is subjective, it is like the mirror and the reflection in the mirror. Can you separate the reflection of the mirror from the mirror? Okay, in the mirror, there is a reflection of a tree. Can you take out the reflection of the tree and keep the mirror separate? Can you do that? You cannot. These two are mixed. Okay. Now, say one is where the subjective means that all the objects, they are like the nature of the mind. Mind is the subject. They are like the nature of the mind. And so they're not separate. There's nothing external there. This is one. Then there's another level of subjectivity where, yes, they are subjective. Still, the object-subject can be separate. Still, object-subject can be separate. And many people, in the first place, they have the misconception of subjectivity, taking subjectivity as purely imagination. This is one of which of 2 extremes? Nihilism, right? Nihilism. Whereas now within those who say that no, we are not into nihilism, subjective means it's not purely imagination. It does exist. So some say it exists like the reflections in the dream or reflections in the mirror, where object and subject, there is no separation. Then others would say that yes, there's a separation. Although they are subjective, still can have separation. Imagine that you are watching a movie. Here, you are watching a movie. Tell me, where is the movie coming from? You are watching a movie on the screen. Where is the movie coming from? From the projector. Where's the projector? In the movie hall. Where's the projector? Behind you. What's your name? Adnan. Okay. So Adnan is saying that the projector is behind him, behind you. How many agree with Adnan? Raise hands. Good. So movie is on the screen, and the projector is behind you. Let's say that is about like 40 feet, 40 feet behind you. So, do you agree with me? Okay, the movie is the metaphor for all the objects, the movie. And the projector is the metaphor for your mind, the subject. Movie is on the screen, screen is metaphor for the object, and the projector is metaphor for your subject, the mind. Okay, the movie on the screen, is it coming from the projector or not? Where's the movie? Movie is on the screen, but it is not from the screen. Do you agree with me or not? It is on the screen, not from the screen. Where's the movie coming from? It's from the projector. So projector is like your mind, and the screen is the object. Projector is the subject, and the screen is the object. And subject object, is there a gap? There's a physical gap. 40 feet gap is there, or 50 feet gap is there. There's a physical gap there, but the movie is coming from the projector. It's not from the screen. It is on the screen, not from the screen. Likewise, your mind is the best of the projector. Your mind is the best of the projector. It projects all what is seeing around. They are projection of your mind. And if you ever think that if they are projection of my mind, then they are non-existent. If this is your understanding, you fall into nihilism. You're getting it? Okay, so this requires more reflection, more studies. Okay, so these are the confusion. Utter confusion. Oh, yes. Have entangled it in utter confusion, just like they tangled Balbaza grass. So these confusions happen. Some say if everything is subjective, then everything should be just imagination, nihilism. Some say if everything is subjective, then there should be no object outside the air. Some say that no, everything is subjective, but objects are still the air. So all these different thoughts are coming. So therefore, the author said that he was confused. Seeing this situation, I strove with a multitude of efforts to follow after the learned ones, and sought your intention again and again. What you really mean by emptiness, objective existence, the author said that I really struggled. At such times, as I studied the numerous works of both our own middle way, the philosophy, we learned about what? Emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origination equals the middle way. Therefore, emptiness is the middle way. So this middle way and other schools, my mind became tormented even more, meaning that he has been extremely objective, learning everything, not saying that I'm the middle way follower, I'm this tradition, I'm that tradition. I learn all. This is what he said. Of both our own middle way and other schools, my mind became tormented ever more, constantly by a network of doubts. Then finally, there are two great authors. One, Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna, the 1st century AD great Indian master. Nagarjuna, his work is like the classic on emptiness concept. Night Lily Grove of Nagarjuna's treatises. Nagarjuna, whom you prophesied, you meaning the Buddha, prophesied, would unravel your unexcelled vehicle as it is, shining the extremes of two extremes. Extremes of existence, which is extreme of absolutism, and non-existence, extreme of nihilism. Then second author, which is extremely important is Acharya Chandragati. Illuminated by the garland of the white lights of Chandra, Acharya Chandragati, again Indian master, 7th century AD, whose stainless wisdom orb is full, who glides freely across scripture's space, who dispels the darkness of extremist hearts and outshines the constellations of false speakers, when through my teacher's kindness, the author Lama Tsongkhapa, his teacher, Arya Manjushri, teacher's kindness, I saw this, my mind found rest at last. Of all your deeds, your speech is supreme. The speech of the teaching on emptiness is supreme. Within that too, it is this very speech of dependent origination. So the wise should remember the Buddha through this teaching of dependent origination. Following such a teacher and having become a renunciate, having studied the conquerors, conqueror meaning the Buddha who conquered his negative emotions. Words not too poorly, this monk who strives in the yogic practices, such is the depth of his reverence to the great seer, the Buddha. Since it is due to my teacher's kindness, I've met with the teaching of the unexcelled teacher, the Buddha. I dedicate this virtue too towards the cause for all beings to be sustained by the sublime spiritual mentors. May the teaching of this beneficent one, till world's end, be unshaken by the winds of evil thoughts. May it always be met by innumerable beings who find conviction in the teacher by understanding the teaching's true nature. May I never falter, even for an instant, to uphold the excellent way of the sage, which illuminates the principle of dependent origination through all my births, even giving away my body and life. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can I enhance this teaching on dependent origination and emptiness, achieved by the Supreme Savior through strenuous efforts over countless eons. May I strive in this with pure intention. May Brahma, as I strive in this with pure intention, to understand how everything is like dream, may Brahma, Indra, and the world's guardians and protectors such as Mahakala unswervingly always assist me. Done. So this is interesting. Now, application of this, what we've studied for the benefit of the world. So, all these concepts of understanding dependent origination and that the dependent origination through which your compassion grows, like emptiness and dependent origination. Seeing emptiness, your destructive emotions subside. Seeing dependent origination, your compassion grows. Then harmony builds up. Brahma, what is that? The sense of brotherhood, sisterhood builds up. And the Mag, your what? Your statement? Amar, Akbar, Anthony? Huh? Amar, Akbar, Anthony, right? Which means spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood, coming together of all. So that is required. For this, without this, it is a self-destruction. The world, self-destruction of yourself and self-destruction of the destruction of others. So harmony should come into existence in this world. This is the only solution. If the world that needs to be, if the world is to prosper, is to really thrive, this is the only solution, coming together of all in the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood. This is the only solution. How to do that? No matter how much you say that we should come together, we should not fight, it will not help. We have to understand dependent origin. We are all dependent on each other. When you know that we are dependent on each other, how the small child, day one the child is born, no affection towards the mother. But over the span of 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the love towards the mother becomes so intense. How did that happen? Because the child sees the mother as a factor dependent upon which all what the child needs is obtained. So dependent origination. Only when we see that we are all dependent on each other, only then the world will be together. With this, just imagine, say, the Ukraine-Russian war. How many trillions of dollars are wasted? In Gaza Strip, how many trillions of dollars are wasted? On a border area, soldiers are suffering. Soldiers are suffering in the cold, acute heat, acute cold. And how much money is drained there? Of all the countries, total trillions and trillions of dollars wasted. Just imagine if all these countries come together in harmony, in the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood, understanding that we are all dependent on each other. All this money can be saved. This can be used for a very productive. This is known as for the welfare of the humanity, charity, schools, health, mental health, and so forth, so that the world will be a better world. This is required. For this, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is saying that more than ever today, we require this, what is known as universal ethics. Universal, not Buddhism, not thisism, thatism, so forth, but universal values. That is required, universal ethics. So he is so much into promoting this. So 2019, on the global level, His Holiness launched his program, Universal Ethics, main umbrella Universal Ethics. Under this, taking the shape of C learning, social, emotional, ethical learning. And if you want the materials of this is amazing. This is being implemented in various universities, colleges, schools, everywhere in the world. And spearheaded by Emory University in USA. Emory University spearheaded this program, and under the main umbrella of His Holiness's vision, Universal Ethics, implemented by Emory University, now is being carried forth in various places, in various countries. So this has been what we need to, this is the only solution, I would say. This is a solution for the better world. That in fact, the world leaders, they can say manipulate the public, at least during their tenure. And if they are more sensible, if they are smart, then they can come together. Once they come together, all these wastage of money, otherwise ways to be wasted, they will all be used in a constructive way. This is known as this is the real civilization. Otherwise, today we call it civilization. It's not really civilization. Still, it is the early man style, bully boys tactic. Is still applicable today. Is applicable on the global stage. This is still applicable. Where there's a bully boy, yes, everybody is scared. It's still, this is not civilization. This is the early men, era. So civilization means where early men cannot do, and today you are doing something. What is that? They're coming together of the 8 billion human beings. It greatly depends on the leaders, world leaders. They come together, all 8 billion human beings will come together. When that happens, then naturally all the trillions and trillions of dollars to be wasted, we can use it productively. This is the civilization, real civilization. Otherwise, it's not civilization. So this program is already in full swing, happening, and still good things. We should never feel complacent with good things. Bad things, even this Tibetan expression, which says that bad thing, even 1 is too much. Good thing, even 100 is too less. So we should not feel complacent. These programs are running full swing. So see that good people later on become the leaders, young ones, leaders, future leaders. They take up this program, apply this, and help other countries also to run on these programs, so that the people only know what is brotherhood, sisterhood, and do not know envy, do not know anger, do not know war. This is what is required. So this is a place where I'm sure that there are some of you who've been there to this place. This is the Rajgir where the Buddha taught how everything is dreamlike. This is a place. We went there, was this year or last year's? I'm not sure of this. Maybe this year's, yes. So what was taught was this. Form is empty. Whatever things that we see here, these are empty of objective reality. This was taught on that Vulture's Peak. And what is emptiness? It's not nothingness, it's a physical form, it's a form. And these two are the same nature. Form is not other than emptiness, empty is not other than the form. Okay, so there are a few more, not really few more. Okay. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are nature of suffering. What we go through is nature of suffering. Yet there is a solution. What's the solution? Wake up from the sleep of ignorance. Everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. wake up from sleep of ignorance to know that the dream is simply the empty of being real. So that helps us transcend the sorrow of the nightmare. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. So finally, what I'd like to share with you is that the Bodhisattva Shantideva, this one book, Bodhisattva Shantideva's book, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, where the author gave a beautiful analogy. If it says that, if you say that I want to explore Goa, and Goa, I want to explore Goa and walk everywhere barefooted, walk everywhere, but your feet can be injured, pricked by thorns, the pebbles, and so forth. So then you request Dr. Savitaji to cover the entire Goa with leather, right? Is it possible? Number one, is not possible. There's no enough such leather to cover the whole entire the Goa. Even if it's covered with the leather, then the beauty will disappear, right? So number one is not practical. Then the author said that better it is to cover your 2 tiny feet with the leather and walk. That suffices covering the entire earth with the leather. You're getting it? Rather than blaming the whole world, tackle your internal factors. That suffices tackling all the external factors. You're getting it? So this is what the author said. Where would I possibly find enough leather with which to cover the surface of the earth? Yet wearing leather just to cover the soles of my feet is equivalent to covering the entire earth with it. So, in other words, wake up from the sleep of ignorance, the emptiness of objective existence, Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakriti, they all were produced from this university, Nalanda University, Nalanda Maharshi University. So this is ruined, unfortunately. And he said that this is the first university in the world. This was, not is. This was the first university in the world, in India. So, unfortunately, it disappeared. But the Tibetans, since 8th century, Tibetans preserved what was developed in this Maharshi University, were preserved in Tibet, brought back to India now. His Holiness is there as the embodiment of this great treasure of the Nalanda teachings. And today, we see that in the West, that people are studying this philosophy so much. So this is something which they see as a great strength of India. So, if you want to study more, what I would say is that one, if you you want to study the comparative studies of the Buddhist philosophy and the science, then Universe and Single Atom by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Whereas if you want to specialize in this topic on waking up from the sleep of ignorance, then how to see yourself as you really are. So these 2 books would be good for suggested readings. Good. Okay. So since we still have some time, 1 minute more. Okay. You like to do a little bit of exercise on emptiness? You want to do or not do? You want to do what it is like to get a flavor of it? Huh? Okay, if yes, then sit up properly. Okay. Okay, how many of you complain? How many complain to your mother, father, husband, wife, children, teachers, your students also? His hands? Complain. It is once. Complain. What's the complaint? There's one common complaint is that I'm very unhappy. Right? Yes? I'm very stressed. I'm tired. Mark, did you say that? Never. You never said it. But today you are stressed, I know. Today you are stressed. This morning. Now not. Yes. He was stressed because that what do you call it? Flight dining. He was so excited to take me there. And that machine, the crane, is not working today. So he was stressed, right? Okay. So the point is that, let's say that I'm stressed, I'm very unhappy, right? This is our complaint today. Or let's say, Joyce, I am very Dr. Anita Sonal, the girl there, what's your name? Shwetakshi, P. I am very unhappy. You getting it? Okay. So let's see that this is a complaint. You getting it? I'm very unhappy, right? Okay. Say that the Dr. Savitiji said that today's the last day. We have to clean this up. And then it took 3 hours cleaning this up. And no tea, no juice, no water, nothing, right? And then you start complaining, I'm very unhappy today, right? When you complain, then from the side you can hear there's a box there. What is that? A carton box? From the box you can hear this sound, which means there's a human being there, right? Oh, 3 hours I've been working we are all working here, and we are so tired, hungry, thirsty, and no tea, no water. But somebody's in that box also. They're also there for 3 hours, right? He or she must be also very thirsty, hungry, right, tired. So you ask, how are you? I am very unhappy. Let's do it again. No. I am very, just very. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, you just knock, tap. How are you? Very. Okay, this group is not good. Okay, let's do it again from here. Dr. Anda, I am very. The lady here, unhappy. Okay. How are you? Okay, sorry. Again. What did you hear? Hey, what did you hear? I am very unhappy. Somebody in the box said, I'm very unhappy. Right? Then you feel empathetic. It's not only me. Somebody in the box also very unhappy. Right? So what you do is that you break into the box and ask, oh, I'm very sorry you are unhappy. Are you unhappy? No, who said I just said I. And then you may be unhappy. No, I just said and, right? Then you may be unhappy. No, where? And then re, un, hey, I'm very happy. Hey. And then p, right? P. I'm very happy. But I heard somebody said, I'm very unhappy. And you thought that I may be hallucinating. I may be suffering from schizophrenia, right? And then what you do is that you call our youngest person here, Mark, the girl here, how old are you? Girl there, huh? How old are you? 21, okay. So which means, let's say that Mark and this girl, bring these two young ones as your witness. Am I schizophrenic? Am I hallucinating? I heard. Somebody said. Then again so what is that? Bang the box. How are you? So the two of you are the witness, right? You listen what they're saying. How are you? What did you hear? Hey, Mark, what did you hear? Same, you heard it. Am I not hallucinating? No, you're not, you're okay, right? Then you break in, you ask, oh, I'm very sorry, you are unhappy. No, I'm very happy. I just said I. And you? I just said and. Who said I'm unhappy? Are you happy? Not happy? I'm very happy. I just said where, right? And re, and, ha, right? Then P, right? Done. Who said I'm unhappy, right? Okay, so this is how our mind works. You're getting it? Our mind, actually, when you say, when you complain, I'm very unhappy, right? I'm very stressed, I'm very unhappy. What is happening is that there are 5 moments of the mind, 5 moments of the mind, different moments. First moment said I and left. Second moment came, said am, and then left. Third moment came and said there, and then left. Then fourth moment came and said re, and left. Fifth moment came and said un, and left. Sixth moment came, said ha, and left. And last one moment said p, and then left. Right? Left. No one moment of the mind said I am unhappy. But you invariably, just as these 2 young boy and girl, just as 2 of them heard, invariably they heard. Somebody said, I am very unhappy. Is it true, Mark? You heard it? Somebody said, I am very unhappy. The girl there, you heard it? Are you sure? Yes. Undeniably you heard it. This says what is happening is that no one said, nobody there said that I'm very unhappy. It's your mind which puts them together. Your mind is subject or object? Your mind is subject or object? Subject. Your mind put all these 7 syllables together, and then you create a concept. You create one unit. I am very unhappy. And then you create the illusion that somebody said, I'm very unhappy. You getting it? This purely subjective. It's not objective. So our mind, how our mind does is that our mind, within our mind, there's 7 moments. The first moment said I. Second moment said am. Third moment said an. No, very, an. The last moment said p and left. The last moment did not even said I. You getting it? So these 7 moments, none of the 7 moments thought that I'm unhappy. But you, as a subject, your mind, put them all together and created an entity. You create a subjective entity that I am very unhappy. When you say I'm very unhappy, you mentally pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling. Pleasant feeling, you're getting it? Unpleasant feeling. Unpleasant feeling. With you like it or you don't like it? You don't like it. So the mind will resist it. This resistance is the intention to resist it. This resistance is the stress. So when you say, so therefore, it's the first thing that you can do is that even in words, try to avoid using the unhealthy words. Not good. I'm stressed. I'm tired. Just try to stay away from using these words. Associated with these words, they are connected with your thought processes. These thought processes are connected with your unpleasant feelings. Unpleasant feelings are connected with the intention to resist. Resistance is a stress. You are unnecessarily building stress. You're getting it? So if you see like this, there's nothing objectively there. The moment you see that I am unhappy, even that's not really there. If you get it, if you really get it, instantly mentally you'll feel uplifted. You'll feel uplifted. Instantly, this heaviness will disappear. This is amazing healing. If you practice it, and if it works, practice it more. The stability has to be gained. With the stability, anytime you can practice days, nights, even while sleeping, you think of that. While eating, you think of that. You go to the Goa beach, you think of that. Even this beach is also like a dream. Even this beach, what is beach? For example, say, how many you are, say 30 years, they're 39 and below, raise hands. 39 and below, raise hands. 39 and below. Hey, the boy there, you're over 39 above? No, you don't like. You like 20s, right? 22, right? Okay, so, so 39 below means those who are 39 below, you are happy, right? I fall under the category of the young ones. At 39 plus, raise hands. You're not too happy. Oh, he is making us raise our hands. Okay, look. Objectively, if you try to look for the objective reality, there's no young and there's no old. Do you agree with me? Young and old is on the basis of the body. Yes or no? Yes? On the body level, your body is nothing but made of cells. Yes, no. Cells are nothing but made of chromosomes, DNA molecules, so yes, no. And these molecules are made of atoms, yes, no. And all the atoms which made the body of this boy, girl, Mark, the atoms which made their bodies and which made our body, the eldest body, these atoms are all same age, yes, no. All these atoms are minimum 15 billion years old. No one atom is younger than any other atom. You're getting it? We are nothing but made of atoms. And all the atoms are same age. So where is young, where is old? Tell me. Huh? Which means, Dr. Sabataji, you are 20 years old? Right in mind, right? Okay. So what I'm saying is that, do you agree with me? That our age is on the basis of our body, yes? Yes? I can see that with my own hands. I still so vividly remember when I was 7 years old, I was looking at my hands. My hands were so cute. Today, it's no more cute. No, not at all. This is reality. You're getting it? So which means we're aging. But aging means on the basis of the body. We don't talk about the mind. It's about the body, aging. Maturation is a mental. Aging is a physical. So the physical, which is nothing but the building blocks are the atoms. On the atomic level, we are all same age. All the atoms are same age, right? And say we distinguish between the males and the females. Okay, males and non-males. Females and non-females, right? This distinction, where is this distinction on the atomic level? No atom is male, no atom is non-male. No atom is female, no atom is non-female. You getting it? This concept, all these distinctions, they are so superficial coming from our mind. On the objective level, on the atomic level, there's no male, female. There's no young, old. They're all same. But still we see some difference there. It's all coming from the subject. What's coming from the subject does not mean that they don't exist in real. They do exist. Everything exists. Let's not forget it. Everything exists, but don't exist objectively. Everything exists. Don't deny the existence. So, because things exist, by dependence, compassion increases. Because things are empty of objective existence, they're like dream. All your destructive emotions stop. The pain stop. This is extremely precious. Okay, I stop here. Some questions. Raise hands. Yes. Yeah, Mike.
To take it a little bit further, the word dependent, can it be replaced with interdependent origination?
Okay, let's
because
go back.
dependent is only in one direction. Interdependence becomes two directions. And we take it further and make it multi-dependent like the nations are today in the world. They are not just dependent, they are multi-dependent at several levels. So,
Okay. This is an amazing question. Thank you. So number one, we talked about the dependent origination. Can that be said as interdependency? Then further taken to multi-interdependency, right? Beautiful, it's amazing. So what I may as well say is that dependent origination, dependency is like the overarching factor. Within that, there can be unidependency, then the mutuality of dependency, and the plurality of the dependency. All these will come under the main overarching umbrella of dependency. That's perfect, very good. The technical term used oftentimes is also referred to as mutuality of dependency. Mutuality of dependency on the, say, the network of dependency. Network of mutuality of dependency. Perfect, very good, yes. As in a mattress, perfect. Yes, true. That's very, that is the case. That's the case. More questions? More questions? Yes, the girl there.
So, in order to be more disciplined, we need concentration.
Yes.
How do I build that kind of concentration?
Oh, very serious question. Same, even if the child is extremely intelligent, but the child does not have the concentration, cannot really focus on what he or she is studying. So concentrate the wisdom, intelligence must be accompanied by the concentration. How to build that? This is a good question. Okay, same. One, people say that now I start practicing the meditation, and how do you learn it? Some people say that I learn it from YouTube. This is a disaster. You getting it? Say, never ever learn from YouTube. What I would say is that first learn it from a living tradition. Living tradition. Once you've learned it, then fine tuning, because then you are in a safe place. You already learned the proper technique. Once you learn that, then you can go to the YouTube for fine tuning. Some teachers are there, because that the living teachers are very different. This is extremely important. Extremely important. Say some people, there are some teachings which are not really relevant at a certain time or to certain people. So when I say that I give a warning to some people that this teaching is not relevant for you. Then when you say that it's not relevant to you, the person wants to becomes even more enthusiastic, wanting to do it, right? Then do it. Then finally end up into the consequence. When the consequence comes, and I don't give the teaching, somebody else gives the teaching. When the consequence comes, they come to me. Now this consequence, what you said is true. What should I do? I said that I know that I cannot fix this problem. So therefore, I want you, don't delve into it. So now whoever give the information, give the teaching, go to that teacher. Go and ask for how to solve the problem. So the thing is that say YouTube, if you start with YouTube, this is not a wise idea. But for the meditation is not like playing with a computer. It's playing with the mind. And your mind decides whether you are smart, not smart, healthy, not healthy, happy, not happy. Your mind decides. Your mind can go haywire. With wrong meditation, it can go haywire. Haywire meaning it can go crazy. You getting it? If you go crazy, once the mind goes crazy, to tackle it is extremely difficult. To undo this crazy mind where you can become mad is very dangerous. So therefore, first do it with a proper lineage, like say the Buddhist, like say Hinduism, like say the Jainism has a good meditation system. I say like Christianity has good meditation, and for example Rumi and Kabir, these great teachers, they have meditation. Some like Sikhism, all traditions have their own meditation. So point is that study a standard meditation style. Whatever tradition is fine, it doesn't matter. After all, your job is how to build the concentration. Once you know how to build the concentration, it's a very secular context. It's a very secular thing. To build concentration, to learn quantum physics, you need concentration. To learn, for example, like, okay, the doctor is there to learn the Gray's anatomy, right? Gray's anatomy, you need incredible concentration. It's a huge text. You have to like what? You have to have everything. It's a huge. Dr. Anitaji, right, and the doctor there, right? Gray's Anatomy is a huge book. So without concentration, it's impossible to learn what is there. So even for secular, the subjects, we require a lot of concentration. And these techniques are taught in the different religious traditions. You can learn that. So one is one technique would be like, say, the body posture should be straight. Because the body posture and your energy inside, energy of the body, energy and the mind, they're all closely connected. Body posture is which makes the energy to flow. If the body posture is not proper, like sitting like hunchback, so forth, then the energy, the channels are not straight. Energy cannot flow smoothly. When the energy is not flowing smoothly, the mind becomes sluggish. For example, like when you're sitting meditating, even leaning against a support, like me, leaning against a support, like each one of us. The moment you lean against support, your mind, the rigor of the mind instantly will drop. Without leaning it, you see that your mind remains very fresh. You're getting it? You lean against support, instantly the level of the concentration drops. So all these are the instructions given, proper instructions. Then the eyes should not be closed in the beginning. Later on, when you become good at meditation, then you can do with eyes closed, eyes open, whichever is possible. Whichever you want to do, is fine. But initially start with the eyes open. Because with the eyes closed, later on you will come to discover, you will come to know that with the eyes open you cannot meditate. Only with the eyes closed you can meditate. With the eyes open you cannot meditate. But meditation is for you to tame your mind under all situations, with eyes closed, open, both. So therefore learn it with eyes open first. Eyes open doesn't mean like gazing like this. Later on there are some meditation where you have to gaze in the space. There's a gazing, the meditation there. That's a different meditation. Initially just keep your eyes fortified, the half open, 45 degrees cast down very naturally. Don't strain your eyes like this. And then the simple technique would be like, just what should you be thinking? That think of, just focus your mind on the breath. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe out. And breathe the breath also. Let it flow very naturally. Don't force your breath. Don't control your breath. Let it flow very naturally. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1. Just focus on the count of the breath. Count. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what you can do. Initially do it 21 times, 21 cycles, which will take you not more than 1.5 minutes. And people may say that you are meditating. How long do you meditate? 1 hour, 2 hours. If somebody tells you you're meditating for 1 hour, 2 hours, means the person doesn't know what is meditation. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. First focus on the quality. 21 cycles, which take maximum 1.5 minutes. And without standing up, keep a short break, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, short break. Sitting, again resume. The same 21 cycles. You can do like 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening, but consistency is very important. Do it consistently for like 1 week, 2 weeks time. Mental distraction and mental dullness, these two should not happen. If these two things happen, don't worry. Apply the mindfulness, introspection mindfulness, to bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation, which is counting the breath. Don't lose track of the count. If you lose track of the count, again go back from 0, 1, 2, 3. So initially, don't expect high quality. It can be low quality, it doesn't matter. then you see that in 1 week, 2 weeks time, the quality gradually builds up. Don't try to make it like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, only 21 cycles, which is not going to be like more than 1.5 minutes. Consistent doing this for two weeks, if you're doing so good that there's so much of freshness, lightness happening in your mind, and the quality is also increasing, then after 2 weeks, if your mind is not distracted within this 21 cycles or lags, not sleepy, then after 2 weeks, you can extend it to 5 minutes. 5 minutes, breathing is going to be like, for young people like you, can be 60, 70 cycles. For older like us, can be like 90, 100 cycles. For younger ones, the breath is more flexible, can be 60 cycles, not like 80 or 90. For elders, will be 80, 90, some cases 100 also. Okay, so that is for like 5 minutes. And that again, you continue for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If the quality comes, again, the longer the duration, what happens, the tendency for our mind to be distracted is more. The tendency for our mind to feel lax, heavy, sinking can be more. If you're able to build the same quality, even with 5 minutes, no issues, then extend it to like 10 minutes. So this is how you build the length, the duration of your meditation. So this will help you build your concentration. Good? More questions? Raise hands. No questions? Okay, if not, then we'll stop here. Yes, Dr. Kavitaji? No, Dr. Anitaji. Mike.
So all of us have something that we are very attracted to or attached to. So when that thing comes, it instantly you almost lose control, right? Like cheesecake, for example, whatever. I really like cheesecake. So at that moment, when that happens, I was wondering if you could say how we can stand there and stop this thing and stand back and perhaps look at it again or go through these, because it's so fast. In seconds you're there and you're eating the cheesecake.
Yes.
Before you even realize what you're doing. No. I was asking if Geshe can, if it's something that's so attractive, and how would, it's easier for things which are not so attractive, but something is very attractive. If you could explain how.
So like, say, Dr. Andy is saying like, iPhone 6 is okay, not too attractive. iPhone Pro Max, iPhone 15, but it's very attractive, right? So if that is the case, right, then how should we deal with it? This is a very good question. This is a very serious question. In fact, one of us says the first thing, before we talk about emptiness and so forth, of course, is even that is very precious. If to talk about that is very precious, meanwhile, practically speaking, what I would do is that let's see to the strength of our mind, how strong we are emotionally. Meaning that, say, a cheesecake comes, your favorite thing, something which you like, what we call as attachment. When that happens, how does your mind react? Just observe it. Just observe it, how the mind reacts. For example, you're extremely thirsty, then you're craving for like the juice or cold water or what? Pepsi, beer, right? Okay, so when you're extremely thirsty, when suddenly object comes, how just don't grab at it, take a moment and observe how the mind reacts. How the mind reacts to it. You getting it? Your mind is, what is this? Involuntary pull. You're getting it? Involuntary pull. Just see what is involuntary pull. Involuntary means you don't have the freedom. You don't have freedom means you are weak. You don't have the strength to hold it. This is a weakness. Just first of all, discover our weakness emotionally. That is so important. Likewise, anger. You're a stupid person. Somebody says this, how your mind reacts instantly as Dr. Andy just said instant, right? Instant. I would say that anger is, we cannot really, observe it. It's extremely instant and extremely forceful. Whereas attachment, we can observe it. We can observe it. We do have little time for that. Even though you are so much into alcohol, beer, cheesecake, whatever, anything which one feels attached to, just keep observing it. Finally, you'll get it. You will go after it. You will go after it. But before that, tell yourself, you will get it. Don't worry. I'll give you this, right? Just observe it, how your mind behaves. Observe it. You see how vulnerable our mind is. Our mind is involuntarily pulled by the object. Involuntary pull is happening. And see that if you still don't understand it, tell yourself that, okay, there's involuntary pull, but if you don't see anything, okay, I'll not have it, right? And will you leave it, or you will say, no, 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 no. When you say no, 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 means I will have it. This is involuntary pull. Involuntary pull. First, observe this. You're getting it? Just observe, and later you can have the cheesecake, whatever you have it. It's fine. In fine meaning, it's not fine, but you will do it. Nobody can stop it. Then next time, again the same thing happens. See, again keep observing it. So that way the distance, the distance in time, the gap in time between your engagement and observing it, that gap can become more longer. The gap will be more and more. So more the gap in time, the more you can get away from it. And then you can apply this wisdom. This wisdom. Okay. So therefore, this is one thing. Then the next point is that say when emotions are too strong, what should we do? For example, anger. For the anger can be expressed in three ways. Where they say the anger is, number one, is experienced mentally, expressed verbally and physically. You're getting it? Experienced mentally. And then you express it verbally, nasty words, and physically, physical abuse, physical violence, they all come. So the same author, Bodhisattva Shantideva, what he said is that when that happens, when the emotion takes you over, to apply the remedy will be very difficult. But you can do one thing. You can do one thing. Remain like a piece of wood. Remain like a piece of wood. Just as, for example, you tell this glass, hey, you stupid glass. The glass will not react. Physical and verbal reaction, you must stop. Mentally, yes, you cannot really control it. Later on, you can control it, but not at this moment, mentally. But verbally and physically, you can control this. So remain like a piece of wood. Don't react physically and verbally. Number one. Then the gap, and gradually you may again react. But keep observing your mind and learn how to remain like a piece of wood and try to practice this. Over time, the gap between your reaction and the observation, this gap will keep increasing. This is how we learn how to manage emotions. And then you also think about the 5 means. 5 ways which I shared with you. Okay. Okay, these 5 ways. Then, meanwhile, also study these 5 ways and try to practice it. It'll take time, and then you will learn how to manage emotions. Once you're able to manage emotions well, then we don't really have to depend on antidepressants. This is very good, extremely good. And you can help your family members also. Good? More questions? Okay, over there. Devika, Mike?
Yeshila, I had a question about what you had said earlier about, when you meet a difficult person, and how do you practice compassion and you worry that, oh, they'll take advantage of me being compassionate, and you compare it to a mad dog. I understand the mad dog analogy, but at the same time, I mean, of course, a mad dog is different, but a person who's causing you some distress. So for me, the confusion sometimes happens where I'm practicing compassion. Yes, perhaps they're still behaving in a way that's causing me distress. So sometimes one is to move away, like the mad dog example, but the other, how do you balance it with, say, the practicing more compassion and more patience and thinking of this person as a teacher for that? So that
Okay.
is sometimes a difficult.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the question. Say for the mad talk is one thing, but for the person is a little more complicated. How to deal with that? When you practice compassion, other person takes advantage. How to deal with that in practical terms? Okay, so there are many ways of dealing with that. Number one is in a very what do you say? In a very conventional way. In the first place, what we said earlier, I think that girl. What's your name? Yes. Huh? What Shravya said earlier, my asthma problem, she fixed it, right? Right. She identified the root cause and then fixed it with 10 rupees, not 70 rupees. Right, not 10 rupees. Okay, with 70 rupees, she fixed my asthma problem. With no other complication, she fixed that. So you have to identify what makes the person behave like this, take advantage of my compassion. In other words, you are feeling compassion fatigue now, right? So what makes the person take advantage of my compassion, abuse my compassion? Usually, there are two reasons. Usually, one is that uh, that the um, that the person thinks that you're stupid. That the person is not being nice to you, still you are being compassionate, which means that you're stupid. You're getting it? So the person sees you as a stupid. Number two, your compassion is seen as a sign of weakness. Weakness, which means that, oh, the person too soft. Too soft means weak, right? So for these two reasons, the person continues to take advantage of you. Because once you identify that these are two reasons, the one immediate measure to be taken is, first thing is to always keep in mind, never give in to anger. Never give in. When I say never give in to anger, no, the moment anger arises, finish. No, this is not the point. If in anger, we cannot write switch it off like this, like a switching off a bulb. It'll take time. We have to manage it. But keep in mind, there's no justification for anger, number one. With this, still, the anger is what? To solve the problem. You can solve the problem without anger. With anger, your immunity goes down, right? If somebody has anger for an extended period of time, really, really, really angry for an extended period of time, and express it continuously, you will not live long. You will die very soon, 100%. So anger is actually harming you, not harming the other person. Whereas a solution is there. What's the solution? Identify the factors dependent upon which other person is behaving in a nasty way, taking advantage of a compassion. What are the factors dependent on which the person is behaving like this? You see these two factors. The other person sees you as stupid. The person sees your compassion as weakness. So now your job is to tell that, no, I'm not stupid. My compassion is not a weakness. My compassion is strength. How? You keep a little distance. Little distance, I know you are. What are you doing? Taking advantage of me. You are sending a message that I know what you're doing. I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing. So that problem is fixed. Second problem is that my compassion is not a weakness. That other person comes to say that say, which is easier? There are two things. One, which everybody can do, which everybody can do, and everybody actually does. Number two, which only out of 100, only 1 or 2% can do. Others cannot do. Cannot do. So, which of the two things is a sign of the strength? You have the quality which other people cannot do, or you have the quality which everybody can do? Huh? Which is a sign of strength? Which only you can do and others cannot do. You're getting it? Okay, so that is a sign of strength. Whereas he or she is seeing you as you weak. Now you have to tell them, the person, that I'm not weak, I'm strong, by demonstrating skills which many people cannot do. For example, like, say, there's an English expression which says, every dog has a day. You agree? Every dog has a day. Which means that other person is taking advantage of you, abusing you. There's also another day where you can take advantage of that person. When that day arises, instead of taking advantage of the person, you help the person, which the ordinary people cannot do. Ordinary people, when they get advantage, they will take advantage. They cannot help. So this is your strength. You help the, say, now today is the Devika's day, right? She can now abuse me. This is her day, right? She will do it. Instead of doing that, you come to help rather than make him drown more. You help. You help, and then because that you knowingly help, knowing that the other person's taking advantage of you, still you help, and keeping distance, the person will see this as a strength. Because this is something which other people cannot do. So you see that, and again you keep a distance, which means that you are smart. And you do something which ordinary people cannot do. Strength. Smart strength. The person will surrender to you. I'll give you one example. In a monastery, say there was one rebellious young monk. Rebellious. And the deputy abbot was like the disciplinarian of the monastery. And this rebellious monk was always creating problems to the deputy abbot of the monastery. And the abbot was not happy with this rebellious monk. One day, the deputy abbot was hospitalized. And he needed blood donation. And announcement was made to the monastery. Give the names of those monks who like to donate blood to the deputy abbot. He's hospitalized. And he was given the blood, and finally he recovered. And in the hospital, then he was informed that the monks, they donated blood to you, this. Then he asked, who donated the blood? Then they give the list of the monks. The first person in the list was this rebellious monk, who was always creating problems to the deputy abbot. And deputy abbot was shedding tears. So which means that this is something, such a rebellious person who does not like you will do that. When he sees that he did it, that is something so rare, strength. So he started crying. You're getting it? So these are the ways. Good. Next question. Yes. Okay. Can we put the mic on?
Okay.
Yes.
This is regard to the dog analogy and the anger issue which Lady Devita mentioned. 3 decades ago, I faced racism in the UK when I was there for a year or so. And that still lingers in a form of reciprocation whenever I see a white man. There were times when I used to go, I mean, in my younger days, go out of my way to pick a situation to get back on the Caucasians because I was on the receiving end over there. Over years, I don't go to pick up conflicts, but if at all there is a conflict where there is a white man there, my trigger gets force multiplied. Just 2-3 days ago, Mark was with me also. I apologize to Mark for the way I reacted when a foreigner banged my car with his bike. But on the other side, also, I've had great experiences with Sardars in my life, Sikhs in my military school. So I go about doing and proactively being excessively friendly with Sardars. And my wife very often questions me, why do you greet a Sardar even when he doesn't know you? And then the joke extends to, you also greet the Sardarnis. So, it's an accumulated grievance which I want to overcome. The priest did help me to overcome, but still I have not overcome. I mean, 3 days ago, which Mark also experienced in front of the Grand Hyatt. So,
Thank you so much. Again, these are very practical matters. As I said earlier, for example, anger is not something very easy to deal with, meaning that you can switch it off under such situation. No. So we have to deal with these emotions. It is like, say, this is the meaning of the practice. Practice. The more we think about, for example, say if there's somebody who you dislike, you keep ruminating over the bad qualities of the person, anger keeps increasing. Whereas on the contrary, if you keep thinking more on these 5 points related to the other person, for example, by changing the discrimination of the 5, by changing discrimination, white, it's not that all whites are bad. Say bad people, good people are born everywhere, in every religion, every ethnicity. Not that one ethnicity has the best of the people in the world. No. Every ethnicity, every religion, there are good people, they're extremely divinely people there. At the same time, extremely notorious people also there, nasty people also there. So this is something which, again, this is something which to acknowledge that when you say a white person or does something bad to you, then you see every white as something negative. This is something which can be more likely that ordinary people can see things like this. Now, oh, okay, yeah, this person is not really good to me, but it's not that all whites are like this. So this is something more evolved people can think. So this is something that we need to learn, that they say, for example, say that if there's a clash between Goan and non-Goan, the fight, and the mistake is of the non-Goan, right? Don't say that all non-Goans are bad, all right? Many people, they will easily go into this direction, particularly if it becomes very sensitive matter, like killing happens. Goan and non-Goan, Goan is killed by non-Goan, then most likely many young boys and girls, not so much the girls, but the boys, young boys, they will go to attack the non-Goans, any non-Goans. This is what happens in the world, everywhere in the world. This is ordinary people's thinking. More evolved people will say that, no, this is not how it works. It's not the reality. One person can be bad in any amongst the Goans as well, not only non-Goans. If you acknowledge this, you have to spread this message. You have to enlighten others. Meanwhile, you also think of this more yourself. So that way, generalizing or stereotyping and then leading to unnecessary problems will stop within yourself and in the community also. So that's very important. So we have to change the discrimination. Change the discrimination. So because of which, then the feeling, when it's the end of the white, right, that unpleasant feeling will not come. Feeling will be okay. So with this, then the resentment will not come. Intention will be okay, right? So we have to change the discrimination. Changing discrimination, there are two things. There are two things. One, not only change it, stabilize it. For example, say, drinking alcohol and becoming intoxicated is not good. We know it, but unless we stabilize with this experience, you can still go into indulgence again. You can still go into the addiction. So therefore, one, cognitively transform it, change the discrimination, stabilize the discrimination, stabilize the positive discrimination. For the stability, what this girl asked about building concentration is one, and also building the habit to do the good things over and over again. That is so important. Thank you, Mark. More questions? Yes. Mike.
I've been teaching now for more than 33 years. And my observation is that the students are becoming less sensitive towards each other along the years. I find a drastic difference in the students now, the present students compared to my previous students. So sometimes you're surrounded by very insensitive people around you, but when you try to bring about that sensitivity, sometimes you feel like a loser, because the same thing happens again the next day, even if you try to imbibe this. So sometimes I feel that our education system is defective. It comes to my head sometimes, I keep on thinking, why does this happen? Previously we used to learn something known as moral science in schools. Now it's not there in the curriculum. And life has become so fast now. There's so much of demand in useless things which you have to provide. Like this NEP system of education which we have to document each and everything which we are doing. Keep a photograph of what you are doing. Scan what you are doing. Now we have e-files, right? E-office. In that we have to scan each and every document, put it on the computer. So there's an order by the higher authorities that you have to do this. So the implementation is not thought of sometimes. Do you have a scanner? Some departments don't have a scanner. How will they scan a document? The order is we are going to use e-office from the 1st of January. So sometimes it's just an order imposed on you and it's impossible to do in such a short time. So there's no solution to it. So people are not sensitive about others also doing certain things. So how do we bring about a change? Sometimes you feel very lost in this. So even if you're a leader, when I was the dean of this, some things I couldn't change. I tried my best to be good to everyone, but some things you feel very hurt with, even when you try so much and then the results don't come.
Okay. This is a very practical question. Yes, it does happen. It does happen. So therefore, the leadership plays a very important role. Leaders, good leaders, play a very important role. In a family, good parents. Good parenting. Parents are the leaders in the family. Likewise in school, the vice chancellor, the dean, the vice chancellor, and for the students, the professors. And then the leader on the high level is extremely important. One leader can change the nation. For example, Lee Kuan Yew, Mahatma Gandhi, one person changed the whole world, changed the whole nation. Lee Kuan Yew, one person made the tiny island shine. Singapore, one person made it shine. That's amazing. So good leaders are important. So one thing is that there are two things. One is the short-term answer and the long-term answer. Long-term answer is to go for the social, emotional, ethical learning. We have to encourage, you in the capacity of your professor, being a professor or dean and so forth, wherever you get the platform to speak about the need for moral science, education, the curriculum of this, learning, social, emotional, ethical learning. These needs to be integrated. Look at the world. They are all doing this. Why not we are doing it? Like this, you just push. Give a push. This is what long term that the leaders, the future leaders will decide the world, that what you're doing is more sensible, right? It's all documented, but what's all this document? The students should be changed. And students, the quality is going down, and documents, they are piling up. What's the point? It doesn't make any sense. So we are so particular with the means, we forget the goal. And students are neglected, but the documents are so important. And the professors, all their time just wasted after creating the document, scanning and so forth, while in mingling with the students, they're all just compromised. So the long term and short term. Long term is to think of creating good leaders in the future. For this, learning, social emotional learning, universal ethics, that must be encouraged throughout the world. Finally, it must be adopted by UNO. It must be adopted by UNO and must be implemented by all the nations in this place so that future, one day we can dream of a world where all the warfares will stop, where everybody is like what the COVID-19 taught us, how to give hand to each other rather than push each other. COVID-19, if you push somebody else, no way you're going to die. You have to give hand. COVID-19 taught us. This tiny virus taught us. So this is something long-term plan, social, emotional, ethical learning, universal ethics. This is one. Immediate, what? But the reality, tomorrow again I have to do scanning, So what should I do? The immediate, again, the immediate thing is that there is, by the same author, okay, Parish, can I type something here? So I want to show this here. Yeah, just quickly. Because this text is so important, the author. No. I have to type. No, you can type here also. I can do it here. Does it come here? PowerPoint. New is good. New, just new. But it's not connected. It's not connected here. Okay. Where is it? Where should I type? I type it here. keep Parishta. Keep this cap here. Okay, can you see this? Can you see this? These are two books that are so important about this, the universal ethics which I taught about for the future of the world. The second book, Beyond Religion by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And for the first, which is about the immediate solution that we're talking about. So there, the author by Shantideva, what is that? Is that if there's a cure, why should you worry? If there's no cure, what's the point of worrying? Right? So this is one thing. Number two is that our mind has a tremendous capacity. Mind has a tremendous capacity whereby they say that you can learn to do these things, do things which otherwise usually we don't do, but to do these things very quickly and gradually, same time not compromising with dealing with the students. Our mind can do that to some extent, right? But keep in mind that and then what is totally impractical, you have to raise your voice. Whenever you get the platform, raise voice. This has to be brought to who's ever created this plan, who's ever created this, as a part of the academic, the thing you have to report it, you have to scan these things. So what's the purpose? Purpose students. And the students' quality going down. And all these filings are becoming better. Why the filings should become better? For what? Students. And students are going down. The purpose is defeated. You have to have a proper planning. You have to raise voice. This is the next thing. So the point is, if there's a cure, why should you worry? If there's no cure, what's the point of worrying? In other words, don't worry. Yeah. Okay, that's it? Yes. Okay, thank you, Dr. Savitiji, Dr. Anandaji, both of you, and all the participants here. Thank you so much.
The word what we were saying, and say that all of us are happy with all the 4 sessions. And I would like to thank Geshe from my heart and all of you who have come here to attend these 4 sessions, because we got a lot of answers to many questions which we all had. So as a token of love, we have this for Geshe. One of you can come, the youngest one, come on. Mark and 21-year-old. Come. And you can present this to Come, Mark. Oh. And what about that? Come and sit down.
Thank you.
Keshila, I'm in that 5-year master's course, and he's very dear to me. Twice a week he is in my home, but this is the first time he's meeting me. So I feel very grateful that I have the opportunity to meet him, and for these 4 days of wonderful, wonderful insight. Thank you so much, Keshila.
The, I came here more as a chaperone, or should I say Sherparon, for my son, but I really soaked in a lot of goodness from you, sir. And I invite you, whenever anybody from your community come to Goa, they need any synergy, any help. I'm a small man, but I will flex my muscle for any firefighting or any situation for your community, sir.
Thank you.
God bless.
I take the privilege of saying that the oldest participant in the group. Whatever be the age, I think attending to and listening to people like you get you more enlightened. And at this age, I think I've learned a lot of things from what you spoke. And I'm sure that whatever the remaining life that I have, I'll be able to practice some of this and maybe share with younger colleagues or my friends. And that's a great achievement. Thank you very much.
Hello. I just want to share with everybody that last night, in reality, I saw subjective reality, and when the dream was over, I was quite happy that it was just a dream. And that really happened. It really happened, and I don't know whether, because we have discussed it over a period of time over here, it was in my mind, and it was related to some issue for which I was finding a solution, trying to find a solution. And that happened. Thank you.
Mark, you like to say something?
So I would like to say, after this speech, I felt really spiritually enlightened. Wow. And in my perspective, I would say that whenever I had any problems in my life, like misery or some problems which I could not solve, I would just cry and just be angry about why I have these problems. But after this course, I would say that instead of crying about the problems, I've decided to take actions towards solving the problems. Yeah.
Very good. Good. Mark made a mark. Yeah. Okay, so now I'll request Geshila to distribute the certificates for those who attended all the 4 days. Still, we have given them. We've become compassionate to those who have also remained absent. Okay, Sri Lakshmi. Yeah. Akash. Sujata Kaisre. That's why I put a black tape. Dr. Lokbarti. చెప్పండి రైతే చెప్పండి. పిఏ వసుంధర అందరు Vasundhara, put your slippers properly. Yeah. No. Fazal GR. Fazal GR. Huh? Absent, you want to give it? You know him? Navjosh. Navjosh is also absent. You know him. Mac Vaz. Mark Vaz. You want to join photo? You're welcome. Dr. Achyutan Kurti. Dr. Shasta. Dr. Nadia Rangel Pinto. Nadia has a nice height. Yeah. Noreen Carnero. Shwetakshi. You can give it later. Afshan. Ashwini Radha. Maria Joyce Sarah Pinto. Kandupuri Shravya. Sonal Lahiri. And Jessia Rodriguez. Anita Dudani. You signed the register, so the certificate is come. Devika Mahadevan. Elroy Fernandez. And Sweezel Fernandez, I think, has left. And Avnar